Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you a quick kind of silly card that I made for my son who's going to a birthday party tomorrow. It's pretty simple. I didn't put a lot of detail into it because like I said, it's tomorrow. And I just saw a few of these online and I thought I would make one really quick so he can bring it to a party. It says, "Look who's turning 10, happy birthday." And I'm using the number of years stamp set, which has the "Look who's turning" stamp on it, which is perfect. And I'm going to make another one because my daughter's going to a birthday party also next week. So I figured I'd make one for her too. The little girl whose party it is actually makes her own fidget spinners. Well, her and her sister do. So I thought she might appreciate it. And anyway, so if you have little kids or kids in elementary school, maybe middle school, you know what a fidget spinner is. And I think my son must have them up in his room. I tried to find one so I could show you a picture of one, a real one, and I couldn't find one. So maybe I'll throw one on my blog when I put this on the blog. Okay, so here's the fidget spinner. And like I said, I'm making another one for my daughter. This one I've decided to put a little more detail into the background. And I've already made the background, so you don't have to watch me make that. It's just strips of paper. This is cut from the Party Animal Designer Series paper, which is on sale right now because it's retiring at the end of May. You can find some great deals on paper right now at the online store, which you can get to from my blog, Beth's Paper Cuts. That's where the washi tape is too. It's from the Party Animal Suite, and that is also on sale. Here's that 7 Happy Birthday, which is from the same stamp set. So I've done the base of the card because you all know how to do that. But I thought I'd put together the spinner for you so you could see what I did. Okay, I just kind of figured it out myself by looking at a picture that my son showed me. So I traced the spinner box. It came in this little box and I just kind of traced it. And that's how I got my shape. And I will put this on my blog if you want to trace it yourself, or you can probably make your own. It's just basically 3 circles connected. And so I traced it onto a piece of Emerald Envy this time and cut it out, and it's not perfect, but I think that's okay. It's for kids and it's supposed to be fun. And let me show you how I put it together. So this is a 1-inch circle that I punched out with my paper punch. I've been a demonstrator for a long time, so I still have some of these older paper punches. And then I needed these. I wanted to raise this up a little bit so that the brad is not glued down so tight. So I made some rings, and how I made a ring is I used a 3/4 inch punch. This is the newer style paper punch, and I punched it. It's easier to do the little punch first and then go around it with your 1-inch punch. So that's how I made the ring. And I made 4 rings and 1 solid. And then I'm going to use 3 of those little punches that I used to make the rings on the fidget spinner as well. So let's layer up these. All I did was add a little bit of glue. I'm using the Tombow multi-purpose glue. It works nicely. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so there I have my built up little rings here, so it makes a little wall for the head of the brad. Now I also used an even tinier little punch. It's a 1/2-inch circle punch, and I cut out some silver foil. And I just glued those down here on the 3 ends. Now I wanted to get the center. I wanted it to be perfect, so I used my ruler. I'm going to show you how I figured out the center. I went from the center of the dip to this top center of the circle and I drew a line. I did that on all 3. And then where the lines all intersect is where I'm going to poke my hole. So I'm going to use the paper piercing mat, which Stampin' Up! Sells in their tool section, and the paper piercing tool, also in the tool section. And I'm just going to poke a hole. There we go. And I'm using a brad. Now, we don't sell brads anymore. I have a lot because they came a lot in a package, and I tend to have a ton. So I still have brads. It's very sad that we don't sell them anymore. You can get brads in an office supply store or, you know, Target or a craft store. We don't sell them anymore, but you can find brads. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick the brad through the hole. And then I'm going to put the top down. How I put the back on, because it might be easier. I don't want to separate the prongs of the back of the brad yet, because I'm going to add some more pieces. Okay, so I cut out these little pieces of acetate sheets. I couldn't cut them with my punch. They weren't working really well, so I just used my scissors. And what I'm going to do is add a poke through the center on both of these, and then I kind of cupped them a little bit. There. Okay, so I'm going to put it on this one with the higher point going up. And I'm going to actually attach it to the Emerald Envy piece. Just going to throw a glue dot behind it. So it's slightly cupped going up, and then I'm going to do the opposite on this one, so the cup is kind of going towards that one. So the two high points are together. I wanted it to spin pretty freely, because one of the things about the fidget spinners is that they spin really well. And I wanted the pieces to spin nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to put the centerpiece on. I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so I've cut some squares. The largest is 4 inches, and then I just made them an 1/8 inch smaller and an 1/8 inch smaller. So this one ends up being 3 3/4. And I'm going to stamp my Look Who's Turning in basic black. The paper piercing mat is really good for paper piercing, but it's also nice when using photopolymer stamps. You know how photopolymer stamps don't have that bit of rubber in between to give it a little give? So the paper piercing mat does that for you. So it's a nice tool to have on your desk. Oh, I didn't ink that up very good, did I? Okay, now I'm just layering these. Okay, now I want the center here to be perfect too, so all I'm doing is I'm taking a ruler and a pencil and drawing a line from corner to corner. And poking a hole where the lines intersect. Here we go. I'm going to go back in this way. Make sure that it's good. Alright. And then I'm just going to add the spinner. There we go. Okay, now you don't normally, you want to put your brad down tight so it doesn't move, but this time we don't want to put it down tight. So I'm just going to open it up so it doesn't fall through the paper. But I'm just not gonna go ahead and, you know, hammer it down or anything. I want it to spin even freer than that. So you want to kind of lift it a little bit so that it doesn't hold fast to the paper. So this little paper piercing tool is coming in handy to kind of keep it off the paper when I fold it over. And that way it spins pretty nicely. Okay. Now another thing you don't want is for when you glue this part down to your base, you want to still have that give. So we're going to use some dimensionals to pop it up from the base. Now my dimensionals that I'm using right here are from a paper pumpkin kit, which tend to be a little bit thicker than the dimensionals. Let's see if I have some on my desk that you buy, just a little bit. So I'm using my paper pumpkin dimensionals. What you can do if you don't have any paper pumpkin dimensionals, which you should, because they give you a lot in the kits, and you have lots of leftovers all the time. So I highly recommend subscribing. But if you don't have any, you can double up on your dimensionals and put two on top of each other to give them a little more height. And then I'm going to put one on either side there. And I'm just going to add this to my card top, just like so. There, that's really fun. I hope that she likes it. I bet little kids are going to think that's a fun birthday card to get, right? Not your traditional birthday card. So here are my little spinner cards. I hope that you think they're fun, and I hope that you go to my blog if you'd like to check out the plan for the template for this, and also check out the link to the shop where you can find some of these retiring products and get your hands on them before they're gone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.